Sentence and kinds of sentences. Welcome to my channel I. Enhance your English. Sentence. A group of words put together in an order to convey a sense and complete in itself, typically containing a subject and predicate, is called as a sentence. A sentence consists of a finite verb and a main clause, and sometimes one or more subordinate clauses conveying a statement, question, exclamation, order, or request, etc. A sentence begins with a capital letter and can end with a full stop, question mark, or an exclamation mark. Now let us see some examples of a sentence. Fly in birds the sky. It is a wrong sentence because the words are not grouped in an order. So what is the correct answer? Let us see. Birds fly in the sky. We can see a subject, birds, fly is the verb, in the sky is the phrase or object, we may say. So fly in the sky is a predicate. One more example. My country I love. This sentence is wrong. It is not called as a sentence because they are not grouped in an order. What is the correct one? Let us see. I love my country. It is right. I is the subject. Love my country is the predicate. The sentences are classified into two categories. Number one, based on their functions, and number two, based on their structures. There are 5 kinds of sentences which are based on the functions. They are: number 1, assertive sentence; number 2, imperative sentence; number 3, interrogative sentence; number 4, exclamatory sentence; number 5, optative sentence. Now let us see the sentences based on the structures. Number 1, simple sentence; number 2, compound sentence; and number 3, complex sentence. First of all, let us see what are assertive sentences. Assertive sentences are commonly known as declaratives or statements. The assertive sentence states or declares something. It may be affirmative or negative. It asserts a statement, feeling, opinion, incident, event, beliefs, history, etc. It contains a subject and a predicate. It can be a simple, compound, or complex sentence. An assertive sentence always ends in a period that is known as full stop. Now let us see some examples of assertive sentence. He is a good orator. She sings with passion. The Taj Mahal was built by Shah Jahan in 1631. Imperative sentence. The sentences that give instructions or advices and express a command, an order, a direction, a request without any subject are known as imperative sentences. Depending on its delivery, an imperative sentence may end with a period that is known as full stop or an exclamation mark. These sentences are also referred as cohortive, disjunctive, or directives, as they provide direction to whoever is being addressed. Now let us see some examples of imperative sentences. Move in a straight line. Please sit down. Get out of my way. Complete the work by tomorrow. Interrogative sentences. An interrogative sentence asks a direct question and always ends in a question mark. Interrogative sentences with WH, such as what, where, when, how, whose, etc., required an open-ended answer. Interrogative sentences that begin with helping verbs like is, am, are, do, does, did, has, have, had, will, shall, can, may, etc. needs a closed answer in yes or no. In interrogative sentences, the first verb precedes the subject. Now let us see some examples of interrogative sentences. How long have you worked there? When did they leave? Are you ready to take the risk? Do you have your assignment ready? Have you seen that movie? Exclamatory sentences. An exclamatory sentence makes a statement that conveys strong emotion or excitement, just like a declarative sentence. It may start with how or what, but they are not interrogative sentences and have a shift in the typical word order and ends with an exclamation mark. Now let us see some examples of exclamatory sentences. How beautiful the rose is! What a terrible big mouth she has! I can't find my mobile phone. I love this scenery. Optative sentences. The sentences that express wish, prayer, hope, desire, curse, etc. are known as optative sentences. Generally, optative sentences begin with words like may or wish, or sometimes with let. They start with a capital letter and end in a period that is known as full stop or an exclamation mark. Now let us see some examples of optative sentences. May the Almighty help us in this tragedy. May God bless you. Wish you a happy journey. Let there be peace on earth. Sentences based on structures. As we know, there are three sentences based on structures. Number one, simple sentence. Number two, compound sentence. And number three, complex sentence. Now let us start with simple sentence. A sentence consisting of only one independent clause with a single subject and predicate is called a simple sentence. Sometimes it may have a compound verb, a compound subject, or a compound predicate. Now let us see the examples. We drink coffee every morning. This particular example has a single subject and predicate. The subject is we. Drink coffee every morning is the predicate. Now let us see the next example. The dog barked and ran. Here the subject is the dog, barked one verb and ran another verb. So it has a compound verb. So the predicate has two verbs. So we can say a compound verb. The dog barked and ran. Now let us see the third example. My father and mother like jogging in the morning. This is an example of a compound subject. We can see in the subject place there are two nouns. My father, one noun, and mother, another noun. And the predicate like jogging in the morning. So this particular sentence is an example of a compound subject of a simple sentence. Now let us see the next example. Mabel walks along the beach and admires the waves. This is an example of compound predicate. Here the subject is only single. Mabel, single subject. Walks along the beach, one predicate. Admires the waves, another predicate. So in this particular sentence we can see two predicates joined by and. So it is known as a compound predicate. Mabel walks along the beach and admires the waves. Now let us see the next example. John and Harris like cricket but hate football and hockey. This particular sentence is an example of a compound subject and a compound predicate. So John and Harris are two nouns. John is one noun and Harris is one noun. And the predicate like cricket but hate football and hockey. So the predicate also has two parts. It is known as compound predicate. Like cricket, one predicate, but hate football and hockey is the second predicate. So it has two subjects and two predicates. So it is known as a compound subject and a compound predicate. Compound sentence. A sentence that has at least two independent clauses with more than one subject and predicate and forms a complete thought joined by a coordinate conjunction, comma, or a semicolon is called as a compound sentence. We can easily identify a compound sentence by the acronym FANBOYS. Here, F stands for, A stands for and, N stands for nor, B stands for but, O stands for or, Y stands for yet, S stands for so. Let us see some examples. I went to bed early for I was tired. Here, I went to bed early is one independent clause. I was tired is another independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction for. So we can say it is a compound sentence. I went to bed early for I was tired. The second example, let us see. She made a speech and we all admired her. She made a speech is one independent clause. We all admired her is another independent clause. These two clauses are joined with a coordinating conjunction and. So it is a compound sentence. She made a speech and we all admired her. The next example, let us see. He did not attend the interview, nor he stayed at home. He did not attend the interview is one independent clause. He stayed at home is another independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction nor. So it is a compound sentence. He did not attend the interview nor he stayed at home. The next example. He ran to catch the bus, but he could not catch the bus. He ran to catch the bus is one independent clause. He could not catch the bus is another independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction but. So it is a compound sentence. He ran to catch the bus, but he could not catch the bus. You can buy this house or you can take it on rent. You can buy this house is an independent clause, or you can take it on rent. You can take it on rent is another independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction or. So it is a compound sentence. You can buy this house or you can take it on rent. The next example. He studied a lot, yet he could not reach the desired target. He studied a lot is one independent clause. He could not reach the desired target is another independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction yet. So it is a compound sentence. He studied a lot, yet he could not reach the desired target. The last one, let us see. She was sick, so she did not attend the party. She was sick is one independent clause. She did not attend the party is another independent clause joined by a coordinating conjunction. So, she was sick, so she did not attend the party is a compound sentence. Complex sentence. A complex sentence is a sentence that contains an independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. The dependent clause is introduced with a subordinate conjunction such as while, after, if, although, before, when, since, etc. to establish a time, a place, a reason, a condition, a concession, or a comparison for the main clause. Remember, if the sentence starts with a dependent clause, then put a comma after the dependent clause. Let us see some examples of complex sentences. Although he was poor, he was honest. Although he was poor is a dependent clause started with a subordinate conjunction although, and although he was poor is depending on the main clause or independent clause he was honest. So we can say although he was poor he was honest is a complex sentence. The second example. I took the shortcut because the route was too long. I took the shortcut is an independent clause or the main clause we may say. Because the route was too long is a dependent clause started with a subordinate conjunction because. So when one independent clause joined by another clause with a subordinate conjunction, we can say it is a complex sentence. I took the shortcut because the route was too long. Third example. When she was a kid, she believed in fairy tales. When she was a kid is a dependent clause. She believed in fairy tales is an independent clause or the main clause we may say. When she was a kid, it is joined with a subordinate conjunction when, and that particular clause is depending on the main clause she believed in fairy tales. So this sentence is known as a complex sentence. When she was a kid, she believed in fairy tales. The fourth example. She returned the mobile after she noticed it was damaged. She returned the mobile is an independent clause. After she noticed it was damaged is a dependent clause started with a subordinate conjunction after. So we can say it is a complex sentence. She returned the mobile after she noticed it was damaged. The next example. If you work hard, you will get first rank. If you work hard is a dependent clause started with a subordinate conjunction if, and it is depending on the main clause you will get first rank. So it is called a complex sentence. If you work hard, you will get first rank. Then next example. Since winter is coming, I will buy a sweater. Since winter is coming is a dependent clause and I will buy a sweater is a independent clause or a main clause. This dependent clause is started with a subordinate conjunction since and is depending on the main clause I will buy a sweater. So we can call it as a complex sentence. Since winter is coming, I will buy a sweater. Thank you for watching. Subscribe my channel for more videos.